König Zwickl Kellerbier.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. We are back with the German beer again, and this one is the König Zwickl Kellerbier. Now, I've always had a bit of a quandary on how to classify this. Personally, I know there are very, very subtle differences between the two styles of Kellerbier and Zwickl, but they are very, very subtle. And the reason is, from what I can gather, Kellerbier is the more mature beer. Zwickl is, as the name would suggest, if you understand German, that basically, I won't give you the literal translation. I will, it's called gusset cock. Get from that what you want. But the meaning of it is the tap that's on the side of a barrel, and the theory was in the old days that the brewmaster would go around and he would have a little taste of the beer to check it out and see if it was mature enough or it had been lagered long enough. And the Zwickl, I think, is from what I can gather from my research, is the fresher of the two. So Kellerbier would be the full, naturally cloudy beer as it should have been brewed back then and as it would have been served. Zwickl was, as I say, it was the slightly younger beer that was tested by the brewmeister. And personally, I think the two styles are interchangeable, and that's just confirmation of it because they've called it both. But the brewery itself, König, you may have heard of them. They do that Konig Pilsner. Now, I tried that back in, I think it was 2020. And I do remember it as being really nice and being a typical North German Pilsner full of noble hop aromas and flavours, and I quite liked it. It was quite pleasant. So this one was brought over from my mate from Germany, Norway, originally from East Germany, but he now lives in Munster, or near Munster. In fact, I think he's moved from Munster now, he lives somewhere else, but it's in that region. And this lot, they come from a place called Duisburg, which, if you know German geography, it's near a place called Oberhausen, which is in the nearest big city would be, I think, Essen. So it's in the Ruhr or North Rhine-Westphalia region, and they're owned by Bitburger. So they're one of these breweries. If you want to compare them to another brewery, it would be like an independent brewer, but with a bigger brewer overseeing them. So they've basically been taken over by them. But at one point in the 1980s, they were the biggest family run or privately owned brewer in Germany, which is saying something. But there we are. Now, I've done a little bit of research on the history. It's pretty sort of mainstream and all that. They've been going since 1858. And the fella that T.H. König, he went on his travels, supposedly picked up a load of knowledge and brewing techniques from Austria, Vienna, Bavaria, etc. Opened up his own brewery, and the rest, they say, is history. It was passed down to his sons, and they carried on. Completely flattened in World War II, as you would expect, being in the Ruhr. The Ruhr, of course, is was, I'm not sure about now, but it was, back then, it was the industrial heartland of Germany. And of course, it had the absolute shit bombed out of it by the RAF and the United States Army Air Force during World War II. But they rebuilt in 1946. I do often wonder how many breweries were finished off and never rebuilt after the Second World War. I'm sure it must have put an end to some really good breweries, but all's fair in love and war, as they say, or is it? I don't think so. Anyway, let's reverse out of that dark cul-de-sac and get back onto the beer. Right, it is a 5.3% beer. It is a 330ml bottle. It is a Kellerbier or Zwickl beer, whatever you want to call it. TH König. König, of course, translates to king, hence the crown. Well, they haven't got it on here, but on the König Pilsner, they've got a crown. They haven't got it on here for some reason. I think what they're trying to do here is try and present it as a bit of a craft beer, which is fair enough. But yeah, looks okay, and I love Kellerbier, so let's get it on. Let's see what's going on. Now, one thing I have noticed with Kellerbier, and I tried some good ones, the St. Georgen Brewery, which I forgot about the other day. Must be me memory going, but I tried the Hacker-Shaw Kellerbier, which for me is one of the best. The St. Georgen Brewery, I think, is a fantastic Kellerbier. And I tried one the other day, which was also done by Bitburger, and that was the Grevensteiner, or Grevensteiner, I should say. It wasn't classed, it was classed as a land beer, but I think it was more in tune with as a Kellerbier. That was the style, I think. And it was really good. And I think they're my top three Kellerbiers at the moment. The Hacker-Shaw stuff, the Grevensteiner, and the St. Georgen Brewery. And I should do a shootout to find out which is the best one. Kellerbier is a really good style of beer. I do like it for its cloudiness and its organic flavours. That's what beer was originally served as. Cloudy, unfiltered, and just given to the masses. As I say, and I said this in the last video that I did about the Stella Unfiltered, where they were trying to make out that it was a new thing they'd invented and it was revolutionary, and it's not. That's how beer was originally served. Certainly in Germany, the bottom fermented lager style was originally cloudy. So this is a throwback to that, if you like, and it is a nice style. I do like it. If it's done right, it's absolutely superb. And I suggest you try out the Hacker-Shaw Kellerbier. If you can get hold of it, the St. Georgen Boy. I should, as I say, do a shootout between them three. Christ, that'll be a bit heavy though. Who cares? Let's get this one open. Let's see how good this one is. Now, before I've just opened it up, but I'm quickly going to give you a rundown on what it is. It is 5.3. It's a 330ml bottle. There's no brew sheet on the website or on here. It doesn't say what hops it is in here. It mentions the yeast. It's got Hefe in there, which of course is yeast in German. But by the looks of things, it does conform to the Reinheitsgebot. But interesting that the ingredients on here are in German and in Italian as well. And I found that in Italy, you do get some very, very good German beers in the supermarkets over there. So not only do the Italians know their food, they also know their beer, and they know their best beer doesn't come from Italy. So there you go. Right, let's get this open. Right, I opened it a bit prematurely there, but there you go. There's the cap. Can you see that? Autofocus? Probably not. Come on, you, for fuck's sake. I just want you to do your job. How fucking difficult. I've got to touch, there's a little screen on there which supposedly gets into focus, and it doesn't, but there you go. I'm gonna fucking put that into landfill. Oh, I've got it in, putting it in this Belgian beer glass. Wow, that is amber. I'm putting it into this amber beer glass, but it's normally served up in a small tankard, but I don't have one at the moment, not a half pint one anyway. So I'm putting it in this. I'm sure it'll be fine. There is an amber coloured Kellerbier, if ever I saw one. It looks almost like a wheat beer, if it didn't have a small head as it's got. Oh, it smells lovely. Oh, that's hugely malty. Oh, it smells lovely. That's just pure malt, that is. And there's I want to say it like a very slightly perfumey flavour off of it, which is unusual. Novel. It's not unpleasant, it's not artificial. It sort of mixes in with the malt, but that just smells really nice. It smells like sweet bread, if you can imagine that. Wow, I think this could potentially be a good one. Let's get it down the hatch, see what's going on. Prost, as they say in Germany. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that is good. Very rich, very full-bodied, as you would expect from a Kellerbier. But it's just pure malt. That is bready, slightly, very, very slightly caramel style malt. Hasn't got any of them sour esters that I normally get on some of the better German Kellerbiers. This is quite sweet in the aroma. Sometimes I do find like a very, very subtle, when I say subtle, I do mean subtle, but I can get it, and I do like sour beers. The aroma that I get from them good Kellerbiers, obviously coming from the yeast, and it smells lovely. But this, as is the flavour as well, that's just pure liquid bread, and it tastes great. There's a very subtle orangey flavour to it as well. Now, I know it's orange in colour, but that is not psychosemantic with me. There is a very subtle, pithy style orange flavour to it, and it's nice. And I'm getting that on the aroma now as well. A little subtle orangey flavour. But it's very subtle. This is just pure liquid bread, and it's really nice. It does taste good, I have to say. I wouldn't say it comes up to the standard of the St. Georgenbräu and the Hacker-Schorr stuff, or even the Grevensteiner, but it's still good. I mean, that is nice. Fair bit of carbonation on that. I wouldn't say it's aggressive, but it's slightly abrasive. And I've got a bit of a sore throat as well. I'm hoping I'm not coming down with COVID, because fuck COVID, that's the last thing I need. It's funny, I was out yesterday with the missus and the grandkids, and they went to see The Lion King, and they said, do you want to come to see The Lion King? And I said, I would rather nail my bollocks to the mast of a sinking ship than go and watch that. So they fucked off to the Lyceum to go and see The Lion King, and I met one of my West Ham mates in a Wetherspoons in, where was it? It was in Holborn. Originally went to the Sam Smith's, the Princess Louise that's in Holborn, and it was closed. And we went around the corner to is it Shakespeare's Head? Wetherspoons there. Walked in, and they had Oakham Citra. They had an Exmoor Ales, which I had a little taste of, and I didn't think much of it at all. It tasted off to me. But they had the Harvestone Bitter and Twisted Golden Ale, and you know my views on Golden Ale. I never claimed to be a fan of English Golden Ale, but I do remember I'd done a review of the Harvestone Bitter and Twisted, and I do remember that being quite a good Golden Ale. So I thought, do you know what, I'll give that a go. I think it was 3.6%. It was quite low ABV. What a great session ale. Really good. It was going down superbly. And West Ham played Norwich yesterday and beat them 4-0. Me and my mate Johnny, we were slagging off Saeed Ben Rama. He's a West Ham player, if you don't know. We were saying how shit he was. He said he could be a good player, but he just doesn't look up and can't read the game. And I looked at the results. We were just talking. I hadn't seen him in a long time. We were just talking. And I looked at my phone. I looked at the result. We'd won 4-0 and he scored 2. So I think we're probably jinxes when it comes to West Ham. So we've decided just to go into a pub and rant about all the players and hopefully get a result. And he's a madman. He's 77 years old, but he can match me pint for pint. And on the way out, he says, have a little shot. I went, no, I don't want one. He says, have a little shot. And he came back with 2 Jaeger bombs, didn't he? So I've nicked them. And I've gone out pretty well oiled. And I walked straight out into the road up towards Covent Garden from Holborn. And I didn't realise they got fucking cycle lanes there. I never used to have them. Got cycle lanes. And I walked straight out in front of this cyclist. And I'm always one for having a go at fucking pedestrians, stupid, idiotic pedestrians who walk out in front of me on my motorbike and all that. I was that person yesterday. and he called me, what did he say? Oh, you silly moron, which I thought was very restrained. If that was me, I'd be calling them all the effing C's under the sun. But yeah, he was quite restrained, so I was quite impressed with that. He did crash into me a little bit on my leg. I was all right though. I was so fucking drunk, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel a thing. But if you're watching, mate, I do apologise. I was just in the zone, and I needed to get back to the theatre because my missus was she was lost. She's trying to find Covent Garden Station. Yeah, it was a disaster of a day, but good laugh all the same. Went to Buckingham Palace. Never done a tourist thing before. Never going to fucking do it again. Honestly, they're doing all this building for the Jubilee and all that, and I couldn't see a fucking thing. But I did get to see, we went past Wellington Barracks, and the Gurkhas were having a little bit of a drill. That was quite interesting. Never seen the Gurkhas with bagpipes. That's a new one on me. We got Gurkhas around here as well, not too far away in Maidstone. They've got a barracks up there, and it's got the Gurkha engineers in it. There's quite a big Nepalese community around there, and some of the curry, honestly, you think you know curry, forget it. Nepalese curry, it pisses all over the shit you eat from Bangladesh and India and all that. Nepalese curry is the way forward. They will cook you anything, and it's lovely. It's really good stuff. Anyway, that was my day yesterday. Let's get back onto this stuff. Yeah, it's really nice. I like it. Slightly different. Got a little bit of a fruity note to it. Orangey, citrusy, fruity note, which is not the usual fare in a Kellerbier, but it hasn't deviated too far away because you have got huge liquid bread, very slightly toasted caramel, and it goes down really nice. It's very full bodied as well, as you would expect with a Kellerbier being cloudy and all that. I do find that is a characteristic of Kellerbier. It is full bodied, but it's superb. And you know, I don't want to compare it to the Stella unfiltered, but that was quite nice, I have to say, and I hold my hands up to it. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to lie to you on these reviews. Yeah, it's brewed by AB InBev, but it wasn't a bad beer. However, when you taste this stuff and then you taste the Stella, you think, well, yeah, this stuff just leaves it for dead, really. This is superb. Great stuff. Really enjoyable, that is. So, what is the verdict on TH König Zwickl Kellerbier? Very nice indeed. I do like Kellerbier, but it has to be done right. And this one is a little bit different. It's got a little bit more fruit on the flavour that I'm used to, but it still tastes great. It hasn't lost too much of the characteristics of a good Zwickl or Kellerbier. And it's full bodied, and yes, you do get that liquid bread finish on it. It has got a little bit of an aggressive carbonation to start off with, but that's calmed down now, and it's very drinkable indeed. I quite like it, but I don't think it comes up to the standard of the Bavarian stuff, i.e. the St. Georgen Boy and the Hacker-Shore Kellerbier, which for me are two of the greatest. But the Grevensteiner is a really good one. And again, I don't think this comes up to that level. Grevensteiner is brewed in a similar sort of region in northwest Germany, and this being owned by Bitburger, I sort of had reservations about it, because when these, and Bitburger is a big brewery in Germany, when they buy out these little breweries, I don't know whether they do what Marston's and all the other shit houses over here do to good breweries that they buy out, but I have to say, all in all, that is not a bad beer. I'm going to give that a solid 8 out of 10. It's very nice. I don't want to give it any more because I don't think it comes up to the standard of the others that I've mentioned, but it's still good. So if you see it, get some. And remember, beer is working class champagne.